There it is.
Make it rain. Holy moly. How about $44 billion to make it rain? That's or is about to do. Let's talk about this stuff today. Here we go. Let's make it rain.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
Mike's. Yeah. Maybe it's the interwebs. Maybe it's because we're sharing the interwebs.
Nah, it was because I signed on and it was on regular laptop mic, not actual connected mic. So.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's jump on this. First of all, hey, dude.
What up?
Yeah. So the funny part is, literally, we are on the show together, but I'm at James's house.
Yeah. So if there's a little bit of background noise, like echo, it's because he's in the other room over there.
Yeah, I'm down the way. All right, ladies and gents. Ham.
Yo.
Elon MFing Musk, dude. Holy crapola. Look at that. My phone's going off over here. Oops.
That is definitely, I don't even know what to say. I mean, that's a lot. I'm shocked. Honestly, I'm shocked. I like Twitter becoming a private company. I don't know. That's Facebook is still
It's publicly traded.
It's public. Yeah. What? How are you gonna? Is Twitter still gonna have all the same like
features?
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk.
What does it mean? So what does it mean for Twitter?
What does it mean? Let's first of all let's explain what is happening. All right. So
okay, sure. I mean,
number one,
the world knows.
The world knows, but then there's some people who are like, "What do you mean public? What do you mean private? What's going on here? What's actually happening?"
Okay, sure.
So Twitter comes onto the scene. I don't know, first decade of 2000, right? Really early on.
Like when you're talking about whether it's private or public, right? Like this is what I think of. We got a board of directors that makes all the decisions, but now it's just Elon Musk that makes all the decisions, and like Twitter, I guess, is just gonna keep.
Well, that's why from the beginning,
like it
right?
is.
So early on, early 2000s, right? This company comes along and is a social media company, and like almost any companies out there, Facebook included, some of these ones. What happens is you start to develop something that you think is pretty cool, something that you think is amazing, something that starts grabbing traction with the market. And what often happens is you end up finding venture capitalists, people who come and pour money and capital into your business, and they take an ownership interest. So think of like Shark Tank, for example.
So you're just thinking startups in general.
Startups in general. This is where we begin, right? So if you ever watched an episode of Shark Tank, these people come to the table with a product or service that the market, hopefully when they go on Shark Tank, the market likes, right? In other words, they're making sales. There's trajectory. It's a forward path. The company is growing. It's not really dying. And so to move it along forward, one way to grow is to use a venture capitalist, somebody else who has money, pours in money into your company. And what they do is they take an ownership interest. And so now instead of you owning the company by yourself, it's you and whoever your investors are. Well, the next step in that evolutionary business ladder is to raise even more money. And the way you raise even more money is very similar to the way you would with a venture capitalist. It's very similar. You would still get money from people who are investing in with you. But now what happens is it's a publicly traded company, which means it's governed by the Security and Exchange Commissions, which means that you and I, the average consumer, can go out and buy shares, ownership interest in a particular company. So that's really what happens. When you have a company like Twitter or like Facebook or whatever that goes public, what it's doing is it's opening its doorway to allow other people to invest so they get an influx of cash. But now as a company, you are limited on the things you can do. You have like James was saying, a board of directors, people telling you what happens in this organization. And ultimately, as ownership, as the board of directors, as a CEO, your end game has to do with the stockholders now, the people who have invested in your company.
That's the difference right there.
And that's huge because Twitter has been the place where a lot of people go and just have random discussions. I like to think of it as a bickering without the bickering. It's just
sure, but
thumbs.
speaking of that, like here's the major change I think for Twitter is exactly what you're talking about. You go from venture capitalists and now it becomes a publicly traded company. So there's always going to be the board of directors, sure, but the board of directors have the shareholders to answer to. Yes. And the shareholders is regular old you and me. It's us. It's everybody in America who can go out there and buy shares. Now that it's a privately owned company, it's like Uber before they went public, right? So there is still going to be a board of directors. Yes. Elon Musk by himself doesn't have, the capacity,
maybe he does, the time, the willingness.
Right. It's not just his money. Like he's buying it, he's taking it private, but there's still other investors that are
there's
involved.
Still other things involved.
100%. And those people are going to be now stakeholders. Yes. We, the general public, are no longer stakeholders in Twitter.
Right.
That's a big change.
That's one of the big changes, right? So ownership interest is a big change. So what happens? Elon comes to the table. He's like, hey, I want to buy Twitter. I want to be able to do what I want to do. Right. So what is that? Mm-hmm. Why can't a company do what they want to do anyways? So like we were saying,
because they have to answer to shareholders.
Because when you're dealing with shareholders, at the end of the day, there are proxy votes. There are things that you can do. When Elon first bought into Twitter, he bought I think it was a 9 or 10% stock interest, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea behind it was, if I can buy a chunk of this company, then I can dictate, or at least try to enforce my opinion onto the board of directors, onto these types of things. And what he saw was it wasn't good enough. Now let's take the clock back a little bit. Why is taking Twitter private versus leaving it public such a big issue? Well, you guys remember the last president that we had, Donald J. Trump? So if you remember a lot of what happened in 2020, there was so much discussion on politics, on the campaigns, on what you can and can't say. And we're living in a time of cancel culture. Cancel culture is one of those weird things that I agree and disagree with at the same time. For example, Twitter. What Twitter did to Donald Trump was basically said, hey, we don't like what you're saying. And mind you, I don't care if you agree, disagree, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, this publicly traded company said, we don't like you. We are going to remove you and your ability to comment on our site. Hands down, that's the rule, right? They're like that, who are like, yes, go Twitter. You need to shut that guy up. He shouldn't have been saying what he needed to be saying anyways. But then there's the other side. The other side is, hey, man, what happened to freedom of speech? You might disagree with him and not like what he's saying, but you can't silence him. And here is that dilemma of, well, can you or can't you silence him? The truth of the matter is you can't silence somebody like Donald Trump because he can go and talk at any corner, any event, any other social media platform. But he doesn't own Twitter. And so when Twitter makes a rule, they can do that. If Twitter decided they wanted to shift and go into a more of a video platform, they can decide to do that. That's their choice. What Elon is trying to do is he's trying to take it and dial it back. He's trying to say, hey, look, Twitter is such a big platform that we shouldn't be silencing people. We should be using it to express, to talk, to communicate, to hash out. And so I think that's one of his big things. He's going to buy this company, $44 billion. And then my assumption is he's going to open it up. I don't know what's going to happen. My question really is this the beginning of the end for Twitter? Or is this the beginning of something we haven't seen before to open things up? Because you guys got to remember, James, I mean, Elon Musk, he thinks way differently than any of us. Mm-hmm. I mean, I am convinced that guy is part alien. He's not from this planet at some point. He was dropped off, maybe from the rings of Jupiter or from Mars itself. I don't know. And he's just trying to make his way back home. I'm convinced that's
the idea.
That's the idea. But what
Elon phone home.
Elon phone home. But at some point, like, he's created these companies that are way ahead of their time, right?
Mhm.
He has a vision for the world, a vision for artificial intelligence, for SpaceX, for humans in general that most of us don't understand. And so I'm excited to see what happens with this Twitter thing. I think it's super cool. I think this guy, to me, is literally Bruce Wayne. Like, I remember the movie in Bruce Wayne, dude.
I bought the restaurant.
Yeah, where he's gonna sit there with Rachel and Harvey Dent, and he's like, "Oh, maybe we could put some tables together." And they're like, "Oh, I don't know if they'll let you do that." He's like, "Yeah, they should. I own the restaurant."
Yeah. Yep.
Like,
yep.
Most of us are, or like
Real life
little
Bruce
kids.
What
Yeah, or we're little kids, right?
if Elon Musk was Batman?
Dude, like
What if he's
real-life
actually Batman?
I honestly, okay, so I see him more like a Bruce Wayne than a Tony Stark. But when it comes to the superhero version of him, I think he's more of an Iron Man than he is a Batman. I don't know. I figure like he'd end up going the AI route, the robotics route.
Yeah.
I don't think he's put the suit on and go like beat some people up. Like that suit better have like its own intelligence. Jarvis, let's go.
What would he name it? That's funny.
What would he name it? He'd name it like like he named his kids, right? Some like weird name, but it's like
a symbol.
Yeah, a symbol. Like it wouldn't even be an actual thing.
Nice.
So Elon buys Twitter, dude. I mean, to me, that's some exciting stuff. I think it's super cool that we have lived in a lifetime where we have like an Elon Musk in our world, where he started off with like nothing, built this little rinky-dink company called PayPal, right? And then that kind of fuels him to do all these other things, which is like SpaceX and Tesla and the Boring Company and all these other amazing things that are shaping the world. I just think that Twitter is going to be one of those things where, like, what happens when the mainstream media doesn't have control over a big media outlet like this? What happens when you can't control 100% of a narrative? Or what if he is the other side? What if he is the control of the narrative under disguise? What if he's the Wizard of Oz, right? Like the Oz behind the curtain. Yeah, Twitter's public. Yeah. No, nothing's going on.
Going back to that though, like the narrative is whatever you want it to be, right? Because it's your algorithm.
Yeah.
It just shows you more of what you want to see. So the narrative is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like who you're talking to, right? Like, I think the algorithm, I think, is different it was definitely different, but it's different type of interactions that we have on Twitter than we would on TikTok, for example, or for Instagram. Like Twitter is very much conversational. Like this is where we talk and disagree and fight behind a keyboard with our thumbs, right? And this is where a lot of the dialogue goes. But to me, it's like a brush fire. This is like a spark here, spark here, spark here, spark here, spark here on Twitter until it catches fire. And then all of a sudden everybody's talking about it across multiple platforms. I just think this is the breeding ground. This is the whisper ground. This is what, to me, that's what tweets are. I mean, granted, people are probably yelling at each other, but I feel like that's the whisper of the internet that kind of feeds some of these other stories.
Twitter is the whisper of the internet.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I just think it is, dude. Like, I feel like YouTube is the
place
documentary of the internet.
It's one of the places where everybody has a voice. That's the thing, is everywhere you go, everybody has a voice.
Everybody does have a voice everywhere. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. I'll give you that.
And Twitter sometimes gets viral. Who knows what goes viral anymore? It all goes viral now.
It's all viral, and nothing is viral.
Sometimes it's a TikTok, and sometimes it's a tweet, and sometimes it's a reel, and sometimes it's a Facebook story. Like sometimes it's a YouTube video. Everything goes viral.
I give you that. Virality is I guess relevant or perspective. Relative? I don't know. Relative. Yeah. It's all relative.
Because whatever I see on TikTok, right? If it's really viral, I'm gonna see it on Instagram.
This is true. It's true. You're like, for example, the slap heard round world, right? The whole Will Smith thing. It's on every platform. Yeah. And I agree with that. I agree with that. The virality, yeah, for sure. The virality, for sure. But it's just the type of interaction that you have is a little bit different. Yeah. It's his all.
Anyways.
All
right. We'll see how that changes. Thank you, Elon Musk, for
buying Twitter,
for throwing a wrench in the system, for
here's a question.
Fun.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
So what happens if you get buyer's remorse, or do you back out, or like, is this one of those things where like people are like, screw that, I don't like him, I'm leaving, and you get waves of people going off the platform? Like, this has got to be one of the, to me, I mean, I have a hard time going and like buying something for like $1,000. I'm thinking about it after the purchase. I'm like, ooh, was it actually good? You know, when you talk to people in sales, everybody always buys emotionally and then justifies logically. Right. That's usually the way things go. You buy a Ferrari, you're like, this is amazing. And then you go home and you tell the wife it's because it gets this many miles to the gallon and I got a really good deal. And it was, you know, they got it right. So that whole psychological thing of buying emotionally and then explaining logically, you think when Elon comes across stuff like this, because I feel like sometimes he just says things off the cuff and he takes action. Do you think it's well thought out and he has a plan going forward? Or do you think this is one of those things where he's like, I'm gonna stick it to you, and then I'm gonna watch the stock price go up like he did with like Bitcoins or Ethereum, you know, some of these. And then once the stock price goes up, he does what every rich person does. And he's like, hey, I made this company better. I think this is great. I mean, it's a big difference going from IPO to private back to IPO. I'm assuming there's a huge difference, but like, I wonder, man, like, do you really think about making some of these big purchases? I mean, we as normal people take off a lot of zeros and it's still a big purchase for us. And this one, $44 million, dude.
44 billion. I mean, this
44 billion.
Yeah. It's wild to me. I have no idea how, you know, what his thought process is there. If he thinks about it. I mean, I agree with you. He wants to open it up. I think, I think probably Trump will get back on that platform at some point. Because he's just going to take it private and open it up to everybody. And who knows what's going to come from that.
I wonder if it's going to be one of those things where like, we're going to kind of look at this later down the road and be like, remember when that happened? That was dumb. Or remember when that happened? Dude, that was when everything changed. You know what I mean? Like these are pinnacle, to me, these are huge pinnacle moments, especially when we're entering like a Web 3.0 world. Right? Ooh. Like how important or how valid is Twitter going to be if we're heading into a different type of internet experience, type of
like a VR internet experience, basically?
Like a VR. I'm thinking it's actually going to be more like you're seeing it in it's what do they call it when it's not VR,
holographic?
It's a holographic type thing where you're interacting with the world, kind of where you're wearing the glasses. What's it called, man? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
I don't know, like a HUD display.
It's something like that. Twitter slap. All these over here like Twitter slap. You're absolutely right, man.
Holo
That's what
Suite.
happened.
Holo Suite. Star Trek.
Suite. Oh, dude. No. There's something called I gotta remember. It's not coming to me right now, but it's not virtual reality. It's augmented reality.
Augmented reality.
It's an augmented reality. And yes, it's coming. The augmented reality is it's actually things that we're already interacting with. But that's what it makes me wonder, right? If we're entering into a world of an augmented reality, how does Twitter play? How does TikTok play into that world? How does Facebook and Instagram play into that world? I mean, they're all thinking about it. You know, Facebook switched over to Meta. They work with Oculus. You know, there's a lot of things that are going on that are embedded. I just don't know if Twitter's along the same path. Is Twitter going to be the Kmart of the social medias? Or is it going to be the Walmarts, the ones that takes off, the Targets? I mean, I don't know.
Target.
This is Targets. This is one of those things where like Twitter, I'm not a big avid Twitter user.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Me
Like
either.
I hop on Twitter from time to time. I retweet stuff. I do some stuff, and I use it more like to kind of see what's going on a particular subject. The hashtag searches on there are pretty cool to kind of look up what people are saying about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a super Twitter user. So is it gonna change? Is it going to be something that he sees? Like I said, Elon always thinks differently. So if we're talking about augmented reality, does he have a vision for Twitter going into this Web 3.0 space? Does he have a vision for Twitter to be embedded in the communications of his Teslas? I mean, like there's so many different things that you figure application can go into some of these other companies that he's using. And I know he has a tendency of doing those things. Like he builds certain things, certain company pieces to like solve a problem, and then he uses them in other companies that he's already working on. Like I just,
it's true,
dude. The guy's a genius. So it really got
he's an
my
alien.
mind thinking.
You're right.
He's an alien, dude. He's an alien. But it really got my mind thinking, like, what is the future of Twitter? What is going
Your
to
guess
happen
is as
going
good
forward?
as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. And,
Brilliant.
nobody knows. And that's part of the fun, I guess. Part of the
I'm going to
mystery.
take a little side here because I got Ollie here. And at the same time, I had a conversation today with our boy, Mr. Eric Gilman, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Gilman hit me up from his travels over at New Mexico. So here we go.
Oh,
ladies and
damn. He's in
gents.
New Mexico already.
He's in New Mexico. He's about 8 writing days away from coming back to San Diego. And let me make my
Nice.
screen a big in here so everybody else can see.
Yeah.
So if you guys are looking at the live show, Eric Writes for Hope. He's coming back on May 7th, 4 p.m. at the Bata Fulkerson building is where the event is
Nice.
going to be. So if you guys are interested in stopping by, dude, I mean, talk about great people. We got Eric Gilman, the sharpest guy I know, who's literally riding his bike across the country to raise $250,000 for
the
Angel
hospital
Wings,
in Haiti.
right? Now, his end of the ride party when he does this event on May 7th is going to be at the Bata Fulkerson law offices, the building right in downtown San Diego, right? Not
The
downtown,
Bulldogs.
but the Bulldog building. That's where it's going to be. Mind you, another great set of people. You guys don't, if you're not from San Diego, you guys got to understand. Bata Fulkerson and their team, they do so many amazing things for all kinds of organizations in the city of San Diego. They are, that Bulldog is a staple. If I was in my podcast studio, you would see the Bulldog right behind me. It's one of those things like Dan never misses a beat when it comes to getting out and helping the community. We had the privilege of going to help out All About the Kids, which is a food bank here in San Diego. Bata Fulkerson is one of the normal donations, and they give money to this organization all the time, feeding families in San Diego. So if you guys want to check out,
we didn't even connect through Bata Fulkerson. We just connected with that person, and it just so happens that Bata Fulkerson is one of their primary donors.
Exactly. So if you guys are available, you're in San Diego, May 7th, 4 p.m. at the Bata Fulkerson building. Let's check it out. If you're interested, send me a DM. I'll send you the details, or at least the Eventbrite invitation, and let's do it. Let's hang out. I'm gonna be there towards the end because one of my best friends is getting married that day, so I'll be there a little bit towards the end. But there's a bunch of great people that are gonna be there. It's a great opportunity to network. You don't have to wear a mask anymore. You get to go and meet people, shake hands, give hugs. If you want to wear a mask, by all means do. But network with some great people that are doing some amazing things for the city, doing some amazing things for other people around the world, because that's really what it's all about. We're here to be of service to others, and these people are definitely making that happen. So faux shizzle. And if you need to donate, by the way, at Eric Rides for Hope is his handle. So at Eric Rides for Hope, or you can go to angelwingsinternational.org, and you guys can donate there. And he's doing some amazingly great things. Now, I don't know if we'll ever reach $44 billion in donations, so I don't think we have a chance of buying Twitter. But every little bit helps, especially since he's doing this riding his bike across the country. $250,000 is what he's trying to raise, riding 2,000 miles across the country. And he's almost done. 3,000 miles. Yeah, you're right. 3,000 miles, 2,800 and something, right? I don't forget what it was. Almost 3,000 miles across the country.
Just round it up to
bicycle. On a bicycle.
Wild.
All right, dude. I'm gonna cut today's episode short. I just wanted to make sure we go out there, and yes, Ollie is going. He says Eric Rides for Hope. He is the man for sure. Hey, by the way, Ham, I had the opportunity the other day to go have lunch with Ollie. We went to go eat sushi. It was a great and amazing time, Ollie. Thanks for reaching out and inviting me. And I had leftover sushi, dude. I was gonna bring it home, and before we head out, gotta get one for the gram. So. I put it down, take a picture with Ollie, typing it up, drive home. I get home and I realize, damn it, I done left the sushi on my hood. I knew it.
Oh no, on the hood.
And it just slid off somewhere. I felt so bad because it was some good sushi left over, man. Oh, dude, love you too, bro. Love you too. All kinds of great stuff.
That sounds like I'm getting sushi today.
It sounds like we're getting sushi today. Or at least some Twizzlers. Look at that. Ollie says he misses you, by the way, James. He was telling me he missed you on some of these live things.
So love you too, man. Miss you too.
Sam says, dude, you're getting old, bro. Hey, Sam, we got wrinkles. We got loss of hair, my friend. Like, it's all happening, dude. It's all happening.
Speak for yourselves.
Yeah. Old.
Oh,
I'm Benjamin Button, baby. I go backwards on my age.
I'm not dealing with sciatica or anything.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, back problems? What's that?
This isn't a inversion table or anything right here. Getting old.
Road sushi, dude.
Oh. Road sushi.
Oh,
Good
bad
Good stuff.
All right, ladies and gents. Hey, just a reminder, we put on a show every single day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys are interested in creating 30 days of content, because that's really what it is, every episode that we record with a guest, we can turn into 30 days of content. So if you, as a business owner, know that you need to be putting out content because you feel like you're invisible, like nobody really knows who you are, you're trying to grow your brand, build your message, become a recognized logo, person, whatever on the internet, then you need to create content. If you need help doing that, maybe you don't know what to say, maybe you're not comfortable, you don't know how to write scripts, you don't know how to do video editing, no problem. We got you taken care of. Go to businessbros.biz. You can schedule one of our free episodes and we'll show you how to create 30 days of content. And if you just want to get started, go to businessbros.biz, click on that 30 days of content, figure out how we can help you create your content so that you stop being invisible, you start being visible, credible, and of course, profitable. We'll see you guys again, mañana. Peace.
Peace out.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with The Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz, and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz and